Hi, this is Mary Kay, and I am going to paint one of my favorite pumpkin fields today. This is a Zoom class that I'm doing, and I'm glad that you're joining us on YouTube. This pumpkin field is one of my favorite pumpkin fields, and well, it is my favorite pumpkin field. I just love how beautiful it is throughout the whole year, all 12 months. And this part of it is when they're bringing in the pumpkins next to the cornfield. And I have to say, I was driving and snapping pictures, being a bad girl, but traffic was slow. And then I just cropped one picture down pretty tight. So this is a very grainy photograph that I printed off on my computer because, like I said, I was in the car and it's a huge old scene, but I just cropped it down to this. I like that you can sort of see the dark hill behind it. I like the corn. I like the layers of pumpkins. I'm going to leave out those fence posts. I love to put fence posts in paintings, but not this one. So there's the photo that I'm going to work from. Here's a sample painting that I did. You can see I just started it in layers. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw in just the lines, just the layers of lines. Looking at this painting here, I see the thing that kind of is catching my eye is this horizon line ends up being this dark one here. And it's really close to the center of the painting. And I feel like the corn's maybe not quite tall enough. So the first thing I'm going to do is drop this horizon line a little bit. And I'm going to go from there. This is a water-soluble graphite pencil. This one is a Faber-Castell graphite aquarelle from Germany, but I like all the other ones too. So I'm going to drop that line just below the half, not much, just a little. And it's the bump. These are the tops of that orange pumpkins. So they're little bumpy. That's all I'm putting in for that. And then I'm going to make my corn a little taller. So this is the top of the corn. That's all the corn tassels. And then there's kind of 3 layers. There's the tassels and sort of a bright green and then a dark green below it. That's my corn layers. Here's the bottom of that little row of pumpkins, or the top row of pumpkins. And it's going to end up being little scallops. Then there's some dirt. And then there's the top row. It's a little bit more uneven. So I'm drawing here. It's sort of bumpy. There's a little spot right in here that's a little darker. And then we have more pumpkins. Then the very bottom row, I'm going to end up dropping it a little bit so that I can get these in. This is the bottom of the orange pumpkins in the front. So it's just kind of scallops. And then there's this. Okay, more scallops on the top. There'll be a few big old stems hanging out, different colors, and some whites in there. And what I'm going to do, I'm not trying to paint every pumpkin. I'm just trying to paint the general feel of it, I think. More just kind of get the colors right so that if you were to look at it, you'd know that it was a pumpkin field and a cornfield. We'll just ignore that phone. And I'm going to just paint from the top down. And I'm going to wet the very top. I'm using a number 10 round. I call this my round museum brush. And I want to make a very dark green at the top. Green, I want to make it darker than this painting, my sample painting. So I'm painting this spot up here because I want it to look darker. Just I think it'll look better. And dark green is burnt sienna and Antwerp blue. Oh, there's the color of the ocean this morning, right there. Maybe I'll switch and paint the ocean. I'll put a little more brown in that. Oh, such a good dark. This has got water on it, so it's going to get lighter as I put it in. And I want this top to be just kind of not perfectly straight like a horizon line, but just sort of like there's little tassels up there. Let's see. Fill this beautiful dark paint in. It's going to lighten as it dries and mixes with that water. I'm going to take some more, I'm going to mix more paint. Burnt sienna in Antwerp. And a little French into it and get an even darker green. Because I don't want it to be just that solid color across. I like the little highlights in there. Try not to mess them up. So now I'm just adding this in as though it's the shadows of those trees behind it. And I want to, now if I've made an inch there, I don't want to make this next shadow an inch away. I need to make it farther or closer. So I want it all different. I think I'll just stop. That's good enough. The next thing I'm going to do is the tassels. No, I think I'll wait on the tassels. I'm going to do the medium green going through here. And I'm just going to use phthalo yellow green. Now, am I going to wet it? Yeah, maybe I'll wet. I'm going to wet. I'm going to leave a little, I'm going to leave a little white line though, where I'm going to put those tassels in later. Okay, so I'm going to do layers, 3 colors, light brown, phthalo green, and dark green. So now what I need to do, I'm going to pause this and go check on my cat. So the cat just got into just a cracker, so no big deal. All right, I'm going to go in. Everything's dried a little bit. I'm just going to keep painting because that's the best thing to do. Just keep painting. That's the phthalo yellow green color. Now I'm going to go back into the same dark green that I painted up at the top. And I'm going to put that down below. And when I do this part, I want to paint a negative shape around the tops of these pumpkins. So it's uneven scallops. So I'm painting the tops of the pumpkins here with the tip of this brush and with the dark green. And then I'll blend that up like that, how it went into that spot there. Now I want to try to make it look like I'm just going to keep painting. I'm going to mix a little bit of light brown, which is burnt sienna, and the tiniest bit of French ultramarine blue. So this was our summer colors, and it makes a lot of, it has a lot of use. I'm going to mix a lot of water into it so that it's this very, very pale. And now I'm going to put it up here, and that's the tassels. And I don't really know how this is looking, if it's really looking like corn or not. Just going to sort of take my brush back and forth. I'm going to make some more dark green, burnt sienna, Antwerp. You can hear that plane going overhead, huh? Oh, and some French into it. Oh, that's so nice and dark now. So this is going to be very high contrast. We'll get these pumpkins in. Well, the corn stalks definitely are vertical. So now what I'm doing is just making vertical stripes into that. I don't know what I'm doing really. I'm just kind of playing. And now I'm trying to make like corn leaves. Now I'm going to go back into my phthalo yellow green and try to make a few more corn leaves, maybe coming down and up. And so it's not just a stripe, but it's a speckled stripe. I'm going to take a little bit of French ultramarine blue and put it in my light brown puddle and just play with the tassels a little bit more. Well, it's very stripy.
Bye.
I'm going to paint with a little water.
No, you leave it open. Thanks.
So my brush, it's all cleaned out, and then I'm actually touching my paper towel. And then I'm just going to make a little, like corn leaves. Some of you from the Midwest are probably Really good at painting corn. All right, that's good enough on that part. What I'm going to do right now is go in with this row of dirt right in here. Because if I put in the orange now while the green is wet, it will blur and make a yucky brown. Okay, my dark brown is burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue. I wet that, and now I'm going to go in. And again, the bottom of this is scalloped. So it's going around the bottoms of the pumpkins. Not as much as the top though, because they sit a little flatter on the bottom, I think. But there's a little bit of shape to the bottom here. And then we have to do the same thing at the here, because this is the top of the next row. So now this one is scalloped this direction. The tops of the pumpkins. So we're really painting negatively both the top of this for the bottom of the top pumpkins and the tops of the bottom pumpkins. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be too fussy because I was fussy all summer. I want a break from being fussy. Just going to fill that in. Maybe it'll be sort of streaky like dirt. I'm going to call that good. I'm going to put a little dirt here underneath this row. And I can put some more of it in later. I just want to kind of make sure I remember to put a little bit here and there. So I didn't make that one go all the way across. I was just painting a little of this dirt, a little spot there maybe, a little spot here, this little spot. There's actually kind of a little row here. A little spot of dirt there. And I'll get I'll put a little more dirt here at the top of some of these. This is not going to be solid. This is all these different colors. And then the bottom is dirt. So I'm going to use my dirt. Burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue. Now this dirt doesn't look as dark as this dirt looks the darkest. This looks less dark. And streakier. And there's some green in it. And it's scalloped also. There's one, I guess that's a weird pumpkin out in the front. That would make a good focal point, but I'm not gonna put it in right now. Okay, now I'm gonna sign my name in this dirt. I love when it pops out like that, like magic. I think I'll put some of this green at the bottom of some of these. You can see actually there's some green pumpkins. So now all I have to do is fill in the pumpkins. I'm gonna work, this is pretty dry. So I'm gonna do that row of pumpkins first. Pull up this light green, I think I'm done with it. Rinse my brush out really well. Now the trick to pumpkins is to start with Hands of Yellow, Medium, or Bumblebee and put that down first. So that's the first step. There's nice clean Hands of Yellow. So I'm going to start with making the pumpkins all yellow. I'm just going to kind of put the line across here. It's dry enough so that it's not mixing and blending. It's just getting rid of those water-soluble pencil marks. They turned a little gray. Gray down there too. So that's the first layer. And then the next layer is to add permanent rows to the yellow. And that makes orange. And if I put that orange over the top of this, making it scalloped, it's going to leave some yellow highlights at the top. I'm glancing at my picture and trying to see how big these pumpkins are, because the ones in the way back here are much smaller than the ones in the front, and that gives us perspective. It makes these look farther back. Now I'm going to make a little bit more orange with thicker pigment, so more yellow and more permanent rows, and get a much darker orange. And I'm going to add that in, and I can see from the picture that it's afternoon, going this direction on the road west. So the very tops of the pumpkins on the right-hand side are the lightest spots, and the other side in the dark is at the bottom. So I'm going to start adding these sort of at a little angle. So that the tops of these little spots where I have my highlights will be, the bright yellows will be at the top right of each little pumpkin. And I don't have to paint everyone perfectly. I'm just trying to make you think, oh, those must be pumpkins, without painting them all. And there's some greens in there, so I'm going to make more dark green, which is burnt sienna and Antwerp. And now some of these are green pumpkins, and some of them have green at the bottom. So I'm just going to put a few. So I put one here, and then I skipped, and I put two close together. Now I need to skip farther and put maybe 2 or 3 here. And then skip, and maybe here's a good spot. And then I made those two distances exactly the same. So I have to split these up. Okay, there we go. That's where I'm going to stop on that. Feeling like I want to do a little blending at the tops of these. So what I've done is I took my brush and I rinsed it all the way out, and then I dried it. So I call this a thirsty brush. And if I just sort of And I did it again. So each time I touch my painting, I'm rinsing it, drawing it, and I'm making a little crescent at the tops. Really what I'm doing is kind of painting with water, but it's... Oh, what's that doggy's name?
Buster and Button. They're
Bus-
both.
Buster and Button. We're so glad you're with us. Make us smile and happy.
Noisy dogs.
Okay, those look more like pumpkins now that I did that little step. All right, I'm gonna put, I think what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna put this row of big orange pumpkins in the bottom here, and then I'm gonna worry about this white area above them in a minute. So this is gonna be the exact same way that I did that row of pumpkins there. I'm gonna do this row of pumpkins the same way. I'm gonna put yellow, orange, more orange, then some greens. So here I go, yellow first. These are bigger. This is where I see orange blobs. All the places I see orange blobs, I start with yellow. It seems like you shouldn't, but I've done pumpkins. I've tried to figure out how to paint them for so many years, and I have found that this way seems to work. Putting that yellow down first always gives me the best orange later. Then I go to my orange. And put that over it. I'm going to put the green in last. Leaving the tops yellow. It's kind of like mascara. I start with my brush dark here and I get my best color here. And then by the time I get to here, there's hardly any paint left, so the color's not as good. So I gotta be careful of that. Here we go. Those are some good colors. You can see I'm not trying to just paint every pumpkin because I just don't feel like painting that way today. I made more dark orange. Whoa, that's an orange pumpkin there now. I'm going to go in with some of these greens. Nice dark greens. Burnt sienna in Antwerp. Some of them have green bottoms and some of them are just all green. That's a beautiful pumpkin there. Yellow and green. Okay, now what? I feel like I like that little trick I did with the thirsty brush. Did that get all blobby? Do some of those. I'm probably going to put some stems in these a little later. Okay, I'm going to call that a row of pumpkins. And then in the middle here of the whites, I have white pumpkins and orange pumpkins, yellow pumpkins. So what I'm going to do is just put some color in and kind of, I'm going to start with yellow though. But I'm going to skip. I'm going to leave some of it white. I'm not going to make it a solid line like I did the other times. There's some white pumpkins in there, and the only way to make them white is to leave them to leave them white. That's a little yellow. Now I'm going to do a little orange. Put some greens into that area of lighter pumpkins. A lot of white pumpkins right in here. I think what I'm going to do now is put in some more dirt. I'm going to make some nice more dirt color, which is our summer colors. Now it's dirt. Went from summer gray to dirt. Fall dirt is burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue. And I'm going to put some dirt in here. At the tops, the bottoms, sort of just tucking into the same spots I had it. So there's dirt at the bottom of these white pumpkins. Trying to make it feel like there's round orange squash out there sitting on the dirt. Not solid dirt, not solid pumpkins, sort of a mixture. And now I think I'll just paint with a little water. I always think of Dee when I paint with water because Dee's very good at painting with water.
Aw,
She's,
not so good with color. It's good with water.
okay. I think it needs two more things, some stems and some shadows. I think it needs some shadow below these guys and some stems, and it's going to be the same color for both. It's going to be dark brown, which is burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue. That's black. Let's put more brown in that. So I just want to have a little shadow, and the shadows kind of to the left of this, of each little globe. So I don't want to, not painting them all in. Now I think I've dotted my brush on here, and I'm just going to use the belly of my brush and sort of smudge it up. And then there can be little smudges of green down there. I'm just using the belly of my brush to sort of just dirty up that paper. So kind of like that dirt. I do want to put some stems in these front pumpkins. I'm going to let them dry, and I can look up in the computer screen, and this is a big long stretch of brown that's all exactly the same color and big. So I think I need to sort of make it, I like it better in this one where it's much skinnier. That's a better thickness of dirt right there. this one is pretty big, so, oh boy. I'm just gonna change it up a little bit so that I don't have 1 inch by 11 inches of the same color and texture all across it. If I'd left more white, I could put some more pumpkins in, but I've painted it, so that part's too late. There's kind of little, I can see little rows like tractor wheels ran across it. That's better. Now the front ground probably looks like it needs to be a little darker too. Although in a demonstration painting I did, the front's very light. I don't know. In the demonstration painting, that row is very dark and the front's very light. But I'm still gonna darken this up. Just a little, especially the corners here. Okay, I'm gonna call that good. And I'm going to put some stems. And these stems are all very brown, dark brown. Yes, sometimes the stems are dark green, so if you want to put a little anthrope in there, you can. Get dark green. Just gonna put a few in. These will be the focal points since they're the darkest and the most detailed. So if the stem comes down, it stops. I want to show you. So this part of the pumpkin is round, and you can see the stem. Here's a stem in the green one. It's a big old thick thing. So I kind of want to not. I don't like them being this exact. I'm gonna put a little water on them and blot them so that they're messier. So we just then put a few more that are almost random. That's better. I like that better. And we could have the tiniest amount of them and very small here in this back row too. I think there are a couple of them there. Very light though. We can have a few here, a few in here. But really the only place you can see them is the front row. We just want to suggest maybe there's some, I'm just going to take these back ones out. I don't think you can see them back there. All right, I'm going to stop because I feel like I want to just put it down as quickly as possible so that you know that's a pumpkin field with corn. Not so sure that my corn turned out. I'm kind of feeling like my corn needs another layer of dark at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because I know you always like to see me try to fix things. I'm looking at the picture and I'm just looking at these shapes in here, how there's the darks and then the light. It's kind of almost like a fountain, ribbons. So that's what I'm sort of just looking at those shapes and putting another layer of dark along the top of the pumpkins. I want to add another layer of green above the one I just put in. And I'm going to use phthalo yellow green and with a little bit of Antwerp and layer it over this using the same sort of strokes I just did. I think I'll just quit.
Okie dokie.
You guys all painted?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, it's wonderful. So you just painted along with me. You could see where it was going and listened and painted. Oh, that's great. Penny, did you? Oh, you're the only one. You didn't? No, it's okay. You're on mute, but I know you just said you were watching and that you're going to paint later.
You said it was demonstration, and I thought, since I
Yeah.
can't do that well, I would really pay attention to how you do it, and then I'll do it next time.
Okay, yeah, that's the idea, but I'm happy when, I mean, it all makes me happy. So, who's going to show? Doris is always good. Wait, Vicky, let's let Doris go.
I'm just going to pin myself. Okay.
Oh, there's a pumpkin field with corn.
Nice.
Yep,
Looks good.
nice and loose. Oranges are great. The reflection on the tops of the pumpkins, nice stems, good darks in there. I like your corn. It's all good. It just reads that pumpkin field. I know exactly where that is, the one on 92. All right, Vicky. There we go. You got some nice white pumpkins in there. And it has sort of a, I like your stems and I like all your stems. Your stems are good. It has sort of a dark gray feel. It has a little heavier feel to it because you've got the grays at the top. And so your dirt looks sort of smoky. It has a smoky feel to it, like later in October. It has a great feel to it. Beautiful.
Thanks.
Really nice, and so quickly painted too, just while I was painting. Dee?
Here's mine. You can see. Oh. See it?
Ah,
Hard. Yeah.
well, you did a card.
Made a card.
Oh, and I like your green pumpkins with the orange ones in the middle.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, thanks.
That'd be a good, you can send that out to
Halloween
make
card.
copies. Do you ever make copies?
No, I just send the originals.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes.
Ah,
Okay, Getty,
Oh, where am I?
you're almost
looks
there.
good, Getty.
Getty, pull your painting back closer to your face. There it is. Yep. I like your calligraphy. I'm going to call it calligraphy. The dark lines on the top and around the sides and the stems. It has a very kind of an inky feel to it. And I like your blurred orange pumpkins. I like your rows of pumpkins. I like them blurred like that with the little bit of calligraphy. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
So interesting to see how everybody does the same thing, but uses
No.
just what comes from in them and changes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? Laura, you're going to paint later?
Well, yeah, I started, but I didn't get the pumpkins in, but this is where I got so far.
Okay, leave it up there for a second
Nice corn.
because I'm going to pin you in a second. Okay, can you lift it up a little bit? Yeah, it is good corn. And your dirt is great. All of your negative painting above and below those white lines of pumpkins are good. Yeah, great. It'll really come to life when those pumpkins go in.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, you're from the Midwest?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know your corn.
Born knee-high by the 4th of July, they say, right? But
That's
here,
right.
it's different here.
Knee-high by the 4th of July?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
The Midwest. But they don't, here it grows all the time, so we don't have the same saying here.
State, Laura?
Hmm?
What state is that?
Illinois.
Oh,
That's
I was
all.
thinking Kansas. Kansas or Iowa, I think they have a lot of corn as well.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was fun.
That was fun. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mary Kay.
Vicki, we looked at yours, right?
Yeah, I did one last time when you didn't have the class.
Okay, let's look at it. Can you pull it back just a little bit? Yeah. Well, you did a good job just doing it on your own from the directions in the just telling you the colors. Yeah, those pumpkins are nice colors on the pumpkins.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Looks like rows of pumpkins in a cornfield. It looks flat. That blue that you have in the background doesn't look like more hills. It looks like the sky. So it's kind of like you're sitting there looking up over the corn to the sky. Yeah, no, I like it. You're doing great. Very Half Moon Bay-ish. Are we all good?
Good.
Good.
All
Good,
right,
thank you.
everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you, Mary Kay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.